Are you drowning in a backlog of unplayed games? Are you struggling to say goodbye to retro loved ones? Are your family furious at the fortune you've spent on things you never play? Then lend me a hand, my friend, because we can help each other out. See, I'm a gamer, not a collector. I want to play my games, not hoard them, but I can't resist the retro, and now I've got a backlog so long it'd take 1,000,000 years to play it all. And my wife is on to me. She's eyed that cupboard space and told me straight, get playing or get rid. So now I need to show her that these games are worth keeping or she's putting them on eBay. And that's where you come in, because in this vid, I'm going to make the case to keep the game and you're going to make the call on its fate. I'll give each game a play, be honest if it stands out, and share a bit on what it means to me, and then you lot get to vote. We'll run a poll and the good lady will read the comments and it'll be down to what you say if I get to keep it. If not, it's getting sold, and that's a fact. So watch with an open heart, give your honest take, and together we can convince the wife to let me keep Bangai O! Now, the thing I really love about that intro is that it makes it look though I've got about 500 hot sexy wives, which is a great thing. Although 500 hot sexy very angry wives, which is not great if they've got their eyes set on getting rid of your gaming collection. And of course I've only got the one hot sexy wife, but she has got her eyes set on getting rid of my gaming collection. Specifically this one, Bangai O. Now, some of you that follow us on socials may be aware this has actually only just come into my possession, which seems like it's a bit of a strange one to start with, I suppose. But the thing is, it was this that sparked it all off. Seeing yet another bubble wrap package arrive from eBay through the door sparked a conversation about how I keep buying games and don't ever seem to play them. As well, she knows I've got about 5 minutes to myself each day. And we kind of got into thinking that maybe I should get rid of a few, came up with this convoluted method of doing it, and here we are, trying to convince you lot to convince her to let me play them. So, Bangai O is the starting point, and what we'll do is we'll give it a play first. That's the most important thing. Is it fun to play? Is it enjoyable? Is it a game I'm going to come back to? We'll go a little bit then into whether it's special, it's standout, whether it's unique in the collection. If I've got 50 other things that I could get this kind of thrill from, we'll drop it like a stone and we'll let the wife have her kicks. And then, does it mean anything to me? Because obviously some of these could be terrible games, but I just love them to bits anyway, and so they've got to stay. If any of those things hit the mark, then I'm hoping you'll vote with us at the end of the video to let me keep Bangai O. Now anyway, let's get cracking, because the first thing is to actually give it a play. Bangai O lets you personalise it by putting in your initials, which feels very nice. My name is Ben. Hello, nice to meet you. We've got a few levels into this already. I was having a little playthrough before this, and I haven't got to level 2 by the way. I have got a bit further than that. But we'll start at the start, because we need a nice simple level so that we can just explain a few of the basics about what we're doing. If you have played Bangai O before, you can skip this bit if you like. You already know what's coming. If you haven't, then stick with me as we just explain what's going on. It looks simple, it plays simple. The basics of this: you are a mech, the Bangai O, and which I tried to translate. I think it means special one or unique one or something. And you fly around. You're playing as either the character Ricky, who I'm playing at the minute, who is a boy, or you're playing as Mammy, his sister, and you can swap between them like this. See, and if you're Ricky, you get homing missiles, and if you're Mammy, you get these sort of lasers. Now the fun thing about Mammy's lasers is they bounce off things, which is great. But on these open stages like this, that's not much use because there's nothing to bounce them off. So you're better off using Ricky's homing lasers. Now, of course, the big thing you will probably know about Bangai if you've seen any screenshots, because this is what they always take a picture of, is that you do have like a big old booster, like this, which you can use to like blast loads of things at one time. And the fruit that's in here has nothing to do with the booster, but on the N64, and it did, you'd have to collect this fruit to charge up your missiles. In this version, if I understand it correctly, you just charge up your missiles by blasting all this stuff on the ground. Now, these do look like little houses, which makes it seem a bit mean that I'm destroying everyone's home. But it's explained in the intro that the evil Cosmo gang is trying to take over Danstar, setting up their own bases for illegal fruit trafficking. And so these are probably their HQ and offices, I suppose. And they've probably been given an evacuation order first, which is great. Getting one of these. Oh, yes, do one of those. So anyway, what we talk about. So the missiles charge up by blasting all of these bad boys, which is great. Oh, you can actually switch to Mammy here because like you can get a bit of like reflecting actually goes. Look at this. See, when it starts to bounce stuff, Mammy's a bit better. So you charge up with this. Now we find out later that the number of missiles that comes out of your Bangai O when you press that magic button depends on how many enemies are around you. Ho, ho, ho. So in a busy bit like this, you can fire loads. On the Dreamcast version, apparently you can fire 400 missiles at once, which is quite amazing. Seeing, especially as I have noticed a bit of slowdown with only about 100, so I'm not really sure that's true. Oh dear. And but on the N64, puny as it was, you could only fire 100 missiles. Now, the key things to know on this are you can fly around like I'm doing, trying to blast every little bit, which is sort of a satisfying neatness to it, or you can just skip ahead and go through these doors and onto where the boss is. Let's find it. There he is. And the difference is basically score, because obviously if you want to zoom around and like collect everything, then you can, or you can go and visit this guy. Forget what his name is. Sabu. There he is. Street Urchin Sabu. If you go straight to the boss, you save a lot of time, and you do get a time bonus at the end. But if you miss all of the buildings, obviously the multiplier is not as great, etc. Now Sabu appears several times and gets progressively harder. In the early levels, he's pretty easily defeated like that. And like the game itself may seem very simple as a result, but trust me, it gets more and more complicated. More and more enemies appear. The bullet hellness of it increases, and so does the fun, because the levels where you have to think a little bit more about what you're doing and what your tactics are the best. So let's try and find one of those. Now this bad boy is a good example. The space cemetery, plenty of fruit for the picking. Exactly. Lots of things that you can do in here, like getting big score bonuses, getting into the middle of sections like that and blasting away. Being intricate as you go around here, and of course using your different weapons. So Mammy's weapons come into the fore in zones like this, because anywhere where there's like a good place to bounce your lasers off, Mammy's your girl. And there's lots of also tight encounters like in here where you really need your big missiles, woohoo, to blast those suckers. And of course there's a bit of level exploration, because you may notice, let's go and have a look over here. Hang on. See this little corridor on the right here? It's a bit inaccessible, so you have to find your way to it. There's the boss entrance there, but you don't go through there, you go through here. Mammy's lasers, oh look at that lovely zigzag effect. Blast round corners, oh yes, so satisfied. And this just adds a different bit to the gameplay, because on those first levels where all you really do is trying to dodge the bullet hell, it wasn't quite as satisfying. On these, where you're having to think, how can I get around without getting shot? How can I make the best use of my weapons? How can I get the biggest score possible? All of this sort of adds up. See that guy down there, I can shoot him by sending my bendy lasers down in front of me, but he can't get me. Sneaky. And all of this just makes the gameplay that bit more satisfying. Now I'm only about halfway through the game, so like I haven't really explored all the levels. All I can say is they've started to get a little bit tricky, and there's lots of variation as well between like things that are like tough bosses, tough enemies, like tough sort of settings where there's loads of people trying to blast you all at once. And yeah, we'll have another go at Sabu, so you can see like how the difficulty curve changes. Because you see Sabu in this one, there he is again. There's a little bit of a running joke that Sabu keeps appearing, and he's saying like, "Is it just you?" Blah blah blah. So it's good. It's good humour. It's a very light-hearted kind of game. But you can see he gets a bit more difficult in this, because watch the level of it. Oh shit, sugar. Watch the level of his multi-attacks when he gets the like multiple things blasting at once. There you go. Look at that. Much bigger than that first level, wasn't it? And it makes that a bit more satisfying. So you have to get a tactic going. Mine is to try and like pin him down to the ground, do a kind of sweeping motion like this to give myself a gap in his bombs, and then shoot him big style. Like there we go, lovely stuff. And it does seem to work. You can pin him down as long as you do a sweep, like sort of across like that. So his lasers, his missiles that can't get out, he seems to do pretty well. Let's just knock him off and then we'll go on to another level and talk to you a little bit more about what makes the game stand out. Bearing in mind, of course, that the gameplay is a big part of that. So, oh, he's still alive and I'm dead. Now, if we try to ignore for a second that I just died while I was trying to explain to you how simple this game is, and we'll look instead at what makes the game stand out. Because, of course, it got a lot of flack, this game, for being ostensibly like an incredibly simple 2D shooter in a world that had gone completely 3D. And you've got to understand, I suppose, when this bad boy came out, mech games were things like Virtual On and super 3D massive arenas. Like you could really immerse yourself in it. But of course the simplicity of the game is the thing that makes this stand out, because back in 1999, I think it was September for the N64 and December for the Dreamcast one, there was nothing like this because everyone had moved on, and that left a niche, and niches are what Treasure is so good at exploiting. And in fact, you probably have to go back to something that's truly like it, to the mid-80s, to a game called Hover Attack, which is what people mostly cite as Treasure's inspiration for the game. And if we can find some, we'll post a little bit of video over the top of this so you can see, because it really is incredibly similar, which is great because it just shows you that this game is really from another world. I mean, I think that was 85? I'll look it up and post it on the screen. I think it's 85, and it just shows you these are from completely different worlds. And Treasure just took a punt and transplanted something from the mid-80s directly onto the Dreamcast in an era where everyone was trying to outdo each other for power, which was just kind of crazy. And it works. It works. I think there's a couple of other games that are a bit similar. I mean, there's a little bit in the sort of control style and the way the levels move to asteroids. And there's a game on the NES, and I think probably a few other things, called Thexter, which has some similarities. Probably Thexter itself actually might have had mind of the PC 88 game as well, because there's like a real similarity to like the sort of jumping around as a mech, blasting things, shooting missiles, the way the levels look and stuff. Again, we'll try and find a little bit of video, and let's go on to the boss and we'll blast him. But that was just its genius, wasn't it? I mean, I think when the N64 one came out, ESP, who launched it, decided it was too niche and made only 10,000 copies for the N64 one. Oh, ye of little faith, because it's an absolutely solid blaster. I think there's more of them on the Dreamcast. And of course, the other bit apart from the 2D is just the crazy, quirky sense of humour. You know, it's very Treasure, but it's like Treasure to the max. I mean, have a look at this. Look, they haven't even spelt really right in the "Do you want to quit" screen. I mean, how great is that? But this guy, what was his name again? Sabu. I've died again. You know, I really shouldn't try and game and play. We'll take that as an opportunity to skip forwards. Yeah, so what we were saying was, it's Treasure's humour is all through the game. So when we die next time, which John definitely will, we'll show you the continue screen, which you may know was slightly risque in the Japanese version and censored in the Western release. But the Sabu, who keeps killing me annoyingly, and all the other quirky characters are just nuts. The intro, which we sort of spoke over and didn't really talk to, the storyline is equally crazy. I mean, you've got this Yakuza-style space pirates that are trying to take over the fruit distribution network. I mean, it's just insane. I think the story goes that the director of the game, Mitsuru Yaida, who's one of the bigwigs at Treasure, you know, he worked on all of their big hits going back to the Konami days and through all of the big names that Treasure had done, was really fascinated by that Hover Attack that we mentioned and how many bullets you get on screen. It kind of set himself the challenge of trying to max out how many sprites and icons you could get flying around at any one time, and it kind of developed into a game from there, so the lore goes. And he took the project to Maigawa, who greenlit it once he'd seen a bit of demo footage, and he pulled together a team, and they just did it on a shoestring budget. And it shows because it's so simple, but I think the freedom also shows as well. The thing that makes this game unique is they weren't trying to be a huge 3D AAA game. They were just trying to have fun, and that is Treasure all round, and I love it. I love it for that reason. Now all of that kind of tells you why the game is unique. It also tells you why it's special to me as well. I mean, treasure games have got a massive role to play in our gaming history for me and for Tibbs. Gunstar we've done a video on, and if you've watched that you'll see that we're absolutely massive fanboys. We've not yet done one on Guardian Heroes, but I mean, my god, that made us feel the same way, as I'm sure it did for a lot of you. And I think everything that Treasure did just always felt so wonderful and special, and their relationship with Sega was a huge part of that, because we were also, as you might be able to guess, massive Sega fanboys as well. So Treasure themselves mean something to us, and it always feels like this game meant something to them, because they obviously put a lot of heart and soul into it, even if they didn't put a lot of cash, because it's just full of their quirky little bits of humour, and it's full of their game dynamics as well. You know, I think one of the things I love most about it is the feeling that it's a Treasure special project. You know, like it almost isn't made for the mass market, it's just made for Treasure and their fans. And you know, there's a fair few people in the Dreamcast community and retro community who've discovered it now, but back in the day we never had it. You know, it's something that we've had to discover later. So there's also a little bit of the magic of latter day Dreamcast discovery that fits in with it as well, because as I've got a GDMU and started filling in the gaps on these games, I've come to know the Dreamcast in a whole new way, and it's just, to be honest, like even better than it was before. Now we'll keep stewing about that last bit, because of course GDMU is a great reason for me to get rid of my physical games and sell them on eBay, but what the good wife doesn't know won't hurt her. And you know, I feel like it's special to me because I don't have anything like it. You know, back to the uniqueness point. This is a different boss, by the way. This guy is sort of a lollipop head guy. I don't really know what his name is. Koazu, my job. Ha! You know, this doesn't exist in any other game that I've got in the collection. I just don't have, even in my Treasure games, like nothing is quite like this. It feels special to put this game on. It feels fun to play it. It feels simple and a blaster. It just feels like something I don't want to be without in my collection, you know what I mean? And I think, by the way, all you have to do to shoot this guy is literally just sit here and blast him like this. I'm not sure if I'm missing something, but every time I've done this, it has worked. If I was trying to convince you this was a hard game, this is maybe a bad level to show you, but I have a feeling he's going to be back later. So there you go. I feel like it's a special game, it's unique, it's fun, I love playing it, it means a lot to me because of Treasure and their link with the Dreamcast and Sega more I suppose, and all of that means I just want it in the collection. Yes, I've got it on the GDMU, but there's no substitute for when you really care about something for having the physical one. So now it's over to you guys, because I've tried to convince you. This is the pitch I'd be giving to the good lady wife, but quite honestly she would be bored after about 30 seconds and would have switched off ages ago. The only thing she's interested in is cold hard votes, and that's what we're going to ask you to do. In the comments and on the socials you will find a poll for whether we should keep this game or not, and I will honour it. If you get voting and if we get a negative decision and we have to get rid of it, then that's what we'll do, and we'll show the results and we'll publish the page, and one of you lucky suckers can even buy this copy out of my cold dead hands. No, I will let it go, I promise. But it's the name of the game. I've got a massive backlog, I want to get playing it, and if it's not going to get played, it's got to get sold. I'm kind of with the wife on that. This one though, I'd really like to keep. So what do you say? Back me up, get voting, and let's convince the wife to let me keep Bangai O.